The narrow door and the great vehicle, from the early Christian to the Bodhisattvas, revelations on the origins of Mahayana. Good morning everybody, bonjour, je m'appelle François-Marie Perrier and I am the author of this book, La porte étroite et le grand véhicule, des premiers chrétiens au Bodhisattva, révélations sur les origines du Mahayana. The origins of Mahayana Buddhism or Great Vehicle are still unexplained today by the Buddhist historians. This Great Vehicle was a revolution inside Buddhism and emerged in the 1st century CE without official explanation. All of a sudden, new Buddhas rose in the strongly Hellenized area of the Kushan Empire, Gandhara, Bactria, and especially a triad of Buddhas named Amitabha, which is a Buddha of infinite lights, Avalokiteshvara, the white Buddha of the West that crossed hell, that saved all souls and that was created by Amitabha to save all human beings. Avalokiteshvara was on a hill some days and he doubted about his vow to accomplish his mission, and his body exploded in many parts. And Amitabha, his supreme genitor, puts again together all his parts and gave him Tara, the supreme wisdom, to help him to accomplish this mission of saving all the people. The third great Buddha that appeared in the 1st century CE was Mahashtama-prapta, which name means the arrival of a great power, and he's symbolized by thunder, lightning. And this triad of Buddhas, Amitabha, the infinite light, Avalokiteshvara, the Buddha that hears the laments of the world, or the Buddha that looks downwards to the suffering of the world, and the Mahashtama-prapta emerged so in the 1st century CE, and they were named in China the 3 saints of the West. In the same period also we saw the emergence of new sutras, very important, such as the Lotus Sutra, where we have parables like the one of the prodigal son, almost exactly like in the Gospel, but it didn't exist before. There is the parable of the father and doctor that gives the cup, the healing cup, to his disciples, and sons, and some of them refuse to drink it. So this father and doctor, he also drinks his cup. He makes as if he was dead, and after he comes back, and in the meanwhile his sons have drunk the cup, so they were saved. So it's very similar, of course, to Christ's death and resurrection. And we have also a very important sutra, that is the Sutra of the Heart of the Supreme Wisdom, Prajna Paramita Hridaya Sutram. And this sutra is the first text in which the Supreme Wisdom appears. It is a feminine wisdom. As I mentioned, it will be, she will be called after Tara in Tibet and in other places. And this Supreme Wisdom is united with Avalokiteshvara, or Avalokiteshvara is united in the Supreme Wisdom in the Heart Sutra. This emergence of the Supreme Feminine Wisdom is very important in the Great Vehicle in the 1st century, as there was no feminine element in Buddhism before the 1st century CE. Buddhism rose in the 6th, 5th century before Christ, but Mahayana was in the 1st century CE. And before this, there was no feminine wisdom, there was no triad of Buddha, there was no such things. One very important thing that appeared also in the Lotus Sutra is the paradise of the pure land of the West, the Sukhavati. And it is possible to reach this paradise through devotion to Amitabha. And in this paradise is possible to see Amitabha, Avalokiteshvara and Mahatma Prapta. And it is not possible to go in this paradise if you are not a man. You have to become a male before entering this paradise. You have to take a male body before entering it. And we have this exactly in the same way in Thomas' Gospel. Why am I talking about the Gnostic Gospel that seem very far away from Mahayana Buddhism? But in fact, it is not. Because when we read at the Gnostic Gospels in Nagamadi, in the library, the Gnostic library of Kenno Boskan in Nagamadi, where these texts were found in 1947, we have exactly the same process of an infinite light that creates the Savior and the Sophia, and together the Savior, that is Christ, and the Sophia, they unite in the bridal chamber, exactly like in Mahayana. Amitabha creates Avalokiteshvara with one eye, Tara with the other eye, and they unite in the center of the mandalas. It is like the bridal chamber. It is the union of compassion and wisdom, of feminine wisdom and masculine compassion, like the masculine Savior and the feminine Sophia in Greece, in the Gnostic. I'm talking about Greece because Sophia is very important also in Orthodoxy, and in the Bible she was named the Shekinah. It was also the wisdom that helped God to create the world. So all these elements were not present in Buddhism before the 1st century CE. They arose in the texts, in iconography, and so the goal of this book that are translated in English, you can find ample extracts on the website www.sameshore.fr. The goal of this book is to share this, that I say, namely that the early Christians encountered the Buddhists of the origin in the strongly Hellenized area of the Kushan Empire in the 1st century CE, and there was a beautiful synthesis between early Christianity with Gnosis and Buddhism, because if we compare theology, iconography, texts, myth, if we look at the Silk Road, where Greek and Aramaic were spoken and written, if we look at the chronology, everything is very, very impressive. So please help me spread dialogue. It's for the benefit of communities. Go on my website, sameshores.fr. You will have extracts and summaries of the book. Thank you very much. I must add that I have a letter recommendation by Edgar Morin, who is maybe the greatest philosopher in the world today. Thank you. Have a nice day. It was May 21st, 2019, and we were in Grenoble. Bye-bye.